give you a short introduction to the events functionality within It's Plain Sailing. So if you would like to set up an event, you go to itsplainsailing.com, click the login button and log into your administration area. This is a test account, so we're going to go to events, click the events menu across the top here. Within the events section, you can see the list of all the existing events that have been set up previously. And above the table on the right, you'll see there's an Add New Event button, which we're going to use. We're going to type in the name of the event, Winter League. We're going to give it a description. So provide the description here. Whatever you type in here will be displayed to people on your public page when they visit your event section and let's say they want to make an entry. So it's important to put as much useful information you think they might want to know about your event here. So in this case, I just type in an example text. If you look at email notifications, so you or other members of your organizing committee can add their email address in here, and then what happens is every time somebody submits an entry to this event, they will receive a confirmation email, but you will also get copied on that confirmation email, or anybody whose email address is added to this section will get copied. Display groups is a way of grouping different events together within your public page. We'll demonstrate that in a different video. You can have numbering of the competitors within the event per competition or across the whole event, but again, it's not something we're going to bother about for this demonstration. Event ticketing. If this was a ticketed event where you wanted the system to generate an electronic ticket and include it in the confirmation email to each person entering, and then the person had to bring that ticket with them to the event to demonstrate that they had paid, well then you could set this to yes. In this case, it's not applicable for this demonstration. Also, if you would like to set a total limit on the number of people who are allowed to enter your event, you could use this feature here. I'm not going to use it at the moment, but you can set a limit. What happens with that is that if once the limit is reached, even if entries are still open on your event, but let's say the limit has been reached, then the system won't let anybody else enter. You have to provide a date for your event. So let's say for demonstration, we're going to set it as the 30th of September. You can indicate when entries close. So you could set up the event today, but you mightn't have entries opening until next week. Again, for this demonstration, we're going to open entries today. And then normally you would set a closing date for entries before your event actually takes place, so that you can get all your entries in and maybe put a schedule together or make plans to accommodate all the competitors. In this case, I'm going to set it to the 26th of September, and I'm going to set it to 12 noon. So once 12 noon is reached on the 26th of September, the system will automatically close entries for this event. There's a couple of other options here which you can explore yourself. For example, if you wanted, you could, by default, when you publish this event, anybody can come along and enter it. However, if you wanted to put a password or a passcode on it, you could set a passcode here, and then only people who have that passcode are allowed to enter. Again, we're not going to do it for this demonstration purposes. And finally, also, when somebody enters, they will receive a confirmation email with a standard set of text and the information that they filled out in their application form. If you wanted to add an additional message to that confirmation email, you could say yes for add message to confirmation email, and then whatever text you'd like to appear, you type it into this box here. So again, I'll just use this for demonstration. So then when you're happy that you've added all the various different fields, click the Add button. So we've now got a second event here called Winter League. However, we're not finished with our setup because we've set up the event, but we haven't added any activities. So if you would imagine, the event is something that takes place on a particular day, but within that event, you might have different levels or different competitions or different activities. So in this demonstration, we're going to add an under 10s and an under 12. So when you click into your event, the one that you've been setting up, so we've set up Winter League, You come down to the bottom, you'll see the competition and activity list. There's a button on the right hand side called Add New Competition / Activity. So we're going to click Add. We're going to give this competition a name. So we're going to call it Under 10. And you would put some sort of a description text for the Under 10 competition. So this is open to all children under the age of 10 on the 1st of January this year. You can actually hide this and show it. So by default, any activity or competition within an event is shown publicly. But let's say you had 10 different activities, but you wanted to hold one of them back. You could show the other 9 and hide this one. You then also have to select what application form you need to use. We're going to use the default application form. The application forms are set up here under entry forms. So we have a different video that shows you how to set up an entry form. An entry form defines what fields of information somebody has to fill out when they're entering. So by default, they have to provide their name and their contact email. But let's say you also, if this was an equestrian event, you might want them to add the name of the horse that they're entering. Well, then you can create an application form that has the horse name in it also, and then you can select and say, okay, I would like to use that particular application form that will appear on this list. Again, that's not for this video. We can show that to you. There's other videos from their help and support that show you how to set up application forms. Also, for the under 10s, you can set, let's say you wanted to set a limit on the number of people who can enter it. So let's say we're going to say we've capacity for 20 people to enter. We also we have some terms and conditions, so you could put in this is our refund policy, so you could type something in here in relation to terms and conditions. So the way that works is that as somebody is entering and filling out the application form, they will have to, the terms and conditions will be displayed to them on the application form, and they won't be allowed to add the application form to their cart and check out without saying that they agree to these terms. So you can type up whatever sort of terms you would like to have in your competition here. Over here on the right hand side, you indicate what's the entry fee. So let's say the entry fee is €20 in this case. Excuse me. You can also say how the person is allowed to pay. So can they pay by credit card, by check, offline, or by both? So in this case, we're going to go by debit credit card. And then in the case of credit card, there is a handling fee that's always charged for somebody using their card to make a payment. You can decide whether that handling fee is included in the €20, yes, or not included in €20, no. So if you say the handling fee is included, yes, well then if I'm entering my child into this under 10 competition, when I go to check out and pay, I just pay €20, and there's no mention or reference to a handling fee. However, if the handling fee is €1, well then your organisation will only get €19 lodged into your bank account. So the handling fee will be taken out of the 20. If, on the other hand, you say handling fee included, no, it means the handling fee is not in the €20. So when the person or the parent is checking out to pay, they'll end up paying €21 or whatever the handling fee happens to be, and then that will be deducted. So you'll still always get €20 into your organisation's bank account. If you have indicated that to payment by check offline is allowed, well then you type in your instructions here. So let's say you wanted people to send you a check and make it payable to such and such, or maybe you're telling them they can do an IBAN bank transfer. So you put the instructions here in. So if somebody does end up paying by check or offline, if you give them that option, this information here that we type in will be included in their confirmation email. So when they get the confirmation email, they'll have instructions on how to make that payment. Scheduling, we just ignore that for the moment. We're going to add that. So now we have an under 10 competition, and let's say we want to add an under 12 competition. You could go through the procedure of clicking add new competition here and going through and typing everything in, or if the under 12 is very like the under 10, you can use the clone button here. So if you click clone, what that does is it takes a copy of the under 10, but you can edit it. So I'm going to change under 10 to 12, under 12, and I'm going to change the description to indicate 12 years old. And let's say the entry fee is €25 for under 12. So I'm going to fill that out, make the change, and click add. So we've now got two activities within this event. If I go to our public page and reload it, you'll see we now have our winter league, whatever the description was that we put in, takes place on the 30th, Saturday the 30th of September. Entries are closing on the 26th at 12 noon, and we've got an under 10 and an under 12, and there's 20 places in each at the moment. So as if I come along to this page and I want to enter, I click on this button to enter. This is the default application form that I said I wanted to use, so I put in I'll put in John Adams, my name, put in my email address, and if I want to put any additional information, I hit it here. I go to add it to my shopping cart. Now I have to agree to whatever the terms and conditions are for this activity. The very first time somebody uses the system and they type in their email address, we ask them to confirm it, and that's because sometimes people can accidentally type in an incorrect email address, and if they do that, then they won't receive, the confirmation email will not end up in the right place. So we add that to the shopping cart, and then when they want to check out, they'll submit order and pay. When they click that, it will bring them to the Stripe checkout page. They'll type in their credit card. This is a test page, so I think I can just type in a dummy card number here, test card, and click pay. I'm going to save that. So this all takes place on the Stripe website, and then when I've successfully paid, you'll see that I see a confirmation email, and this is a copy of, I will actually have received an email address in my mailbox, and this is a copy of what it looks like. So, and you'll see it includes the additional message that we added on. So that's how the basic principle behind how the events section works and how you can set up your own event.